Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you see me for the first time, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Blessing. Please consider subscribing after watching this video. Thank you. Today I'll be sharing a few things with you to consider before moving to the UK. If you're relocating from Nigeria to the UK, these are things you need to consider before moving. One of the things you should consider before moving to the UK. Number one is your salary. Yes, how much are you going to be paid per month, so that you are able to accommodate or sustain the lifestyle that you are used to or the lifestyle that you'll be living here. So make sure you do your research. Don't just accept any offer. For example, if you get an offer, let's say you'll be paid £1,500 a month. Yes, it may look big, but make sure you do your research on where your workplace is, the cost of living in that area, because you don't want to accept a job offer where the cost of living there, let's say the average rent you could get is about £1,000 per month. You won't be able to sustain yourself, because imagine paying £1,000 per month for rent alone, where there are other bills to pay as well. So make sure you do your research before accepting any job offer. Number two is the weather. Yes, people don't get to talk about this all the time, but yes, the weather here in the UK, it is very, very cold. During the winter, it is very, very cold, and even during summer, there is no typical summer here in the UK. At times, there are days where you see, oh, it's sunny today, oh, you're happy, you're dressed, you go out, a couple of hours later, it is rainy and it is cold. So before you relocate to the UK, yes, consider it. It is very, very cold. If you know you don't like cold, you need to rethink, or better still, think of how you're going to keep yourself warm here in the UK. Another thing to consider is bills. Yes, there is a lot of bills to pay. You pay for everything. There is your rent, there is council tax, there is broadband, there is water bill, there is gas bill, electricity bill, car insurance if you're going to be driving. Yes, I know in Nigeria it's not really a thing for you to pay insurance on your car before driving it. Here in the UK, if you're planning to drive, it's a must. You need to pay your car insurance and feeding as well. So depending on where you're living, your cost of rent can go as high as £2,000 per month. So yes, there's a lot of bills to be paid. Make sure you have that at the back of your mind. You pay for everything. You get everything. Don't get me wrong. The system works. Everything you paid for, you get everything. For example, if you pay your light bill, if you're paying your light bill, you're having your electricity 24/7. So yes, you pay for what you get. Make sure you have that at the back of your mind. Another thing you should consider before relocating is the tax. Yes, I used to think that myself. So you see, when you get a job offer and it's written, oh, you're going to be paid £30,000 per year. In your mind, you think you divide £30,000 divided by 12. That is the money that you're going to be paid. No, it doesn't work that way. You're going to be taxed heavily for that. So tax is the must. You get taxed. I'll drop the details on the screen here for you to see how much you'll be taxed. I think the first 12,500 you don't get taxed, but after that cap, £12,500 per year. So let's say if you're earning £30,000 per year, the first £12,500 will not be taxed. Then from the £13,000 downwards up to the 30k, it will be taxed, I think, 20%. So yes, be ready for that. I know it's going to be a shock, but yeah, you need to be ready for that. You're going to be taxed. See all those money that you're counting, and maybe you'll be paying £3,000 per month. No, after tax, you might be getting, let's say, 2,000, maybe 2,300, I think. Yeah, just do the math. So if you're earning up to £50,000 a year, you get taxed 20%. If you're earning above £50,000 per year, I think you get tax 40%, I think. So yeah, be aware you're going to be paying tax. Is a must. Before your employer pays you, everything is being deducted. So be aware that you're going to be paying tax. Another thing to consider, especially when you're relocating with your family, with kids, is that childcare here in the UK is expensive. It is very, very expensive. If you're moving with kids, especially minor, make sure you're coming together. So I mean, husband and wife plus the kids needs to come together. Don't come as a single mom with children, because you're going to struggle, especially if your kids are minor, because childcare here in the UK is expensive. Childcare costs can go for a minimum of £50 to as high as £120, depending on the area that you are living and depending on how many kids. It is important to consider childcare, because the thing is, that was why I said if you're relocating with children, especially minor, it is good for you to relocate with your partner, so that when you come in here, you both can share the cost of childcare, or rather, one person can be working during the day and the other at night. Then you don't get to pay much for childcare. If you're planning on getting a nanny, if you can afford it, good for you. But here in the UK, the cost of nanny is expensive and they charge you per child. So you see, when back home you just employ a nanny and say, okay, I'll be paying you 40k every month, then the nanny is fine, they're okay with it. Here in the UK, they charge you per child. So if, let's say, the nanny is charging you £800 per month for one child, if you're adding another child to it, they're going to charge you maybe half of the money. So let's say they'll charge you £800 for one child, then let's say £400 for the other child. So they charge you according to the kids that you have. And like I said, having a nanny here in the UK is expensive. So it ranges between £1,000 to as high as £2,500 a month, especially if it's a living nanny. So yes, before relocating, have it at the back of your mind, nanny is expensive. So from age 0 to 12, you need to take them to school. You need to pick them up. They can't, especially when they are young, especially between 0 to 8. They can't go to school on their own. So these are things you need to consider. You need to drop them from school, pick them from school. Most of the time they close by 3 o'clock. So imagine if you're working, you need to consider that who is going to pick your child from school? Who is going to take them to school? Who is going to take them to the activities? Who is going to stay with them and do their homework? These things you need to consider. So if you're coming to the UK, consider childcare. Childcare is expensive. Okay? Another thing to consider is your African food here is expensive. It's not as cheap as you have it in Nigeria. So if you're planning to relocate, make sure you come with as much as you can. If you can afford it, pay for an extra kilo, an extra bag when you're relocating. Bring as much as you can African food stuff, because they are very expensive here in the UK. And if you are just relocating, you don't want to be spending your money on buying African food because you have not actually worked enough. So it's good that when you come in, make sure you come with your African food. Make sure you come with your egusi, your pepper, your crayfish, because these things are expensive here in the UK. And last but not the least, racism. Yes, there is racism here in the UK, even if we don't get to talk about it. A lot of us face racism. So have that at the back of your mind, that when you're not in your country, like your homeland or your motherland, you're not in your motherland. So yes, racism. A lot of us face racism here in the UK. Have that in the back of your mind. Personally, I haven't experienced racism here, but I've heard stories of people who face racism and the rest. So have that at the back of your mind. You might meet some people who are nasty, who will say some things to you that you don't like. Yes, although it is punishable by the law, but how many are you going to report? So yes, racism. When you're leaving your homeland and coming to another man's place, yes, a lot of us will face that. So hopefully, just put that at the back of your mind. Hopefully you don't get to experience it, but yes, it does happen. And yes, guys, these are things you should consider before relocating to the UK. And don't forget to pray. Yes, pray about everything. Pray about your decision. Pray about the job. Pray that God leads you, Don't just pack your bag and just move. Make sure you pray and ask God for guidance. And that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching to the end. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and join the family, and I'll see you in my next one.